Hi there, I'm John Shields, and welcome to another episode of Chesapeake Farm and Bay to Table. Today's class is the 5th episode of our 2nd season, and we are digging into spring, literally. Yep, it's time to start our kitchen gardens. Now, don't get your clam diggers all in an uproar. You don't need a lot of land to grow a productive kitchen garden. You can work your green thumb by planting and growing just a small herb garden, maybe with a few vegetables. And this week we're fortunate to have with us Robert Cook, a master gardener with the Baltimore City Master Gardeners. Now he's going to show us how to plan and pick the best herbs and easy to grow vegetables for kind of specific environments. And since spring has sprung, Robert, Mary, and I will be whipping up a simple spring pea soup with a jazzy topping. So all this talk of herbs got me thinking about the herb guys from the farmer's market, Max Degrees. Max Posey of Max's is an encyclopedic whiz of herbs and spices. So get out your spice rack and Max will guide us through the basic and exotic blends and the history behind them. Andy's Eggs from Harford County will be providing us with gorgeous roasting chickens to pair up with Max's spice blend. And besides the peas and asparagus of spring and the tender shoots of potted plants and herbs waiting to be lovingly tucked into the garden, spring around the Chesapeake wouldn't be complete without strawberries and rhubarb, the natural spring tonic. We're going to get those two together and transfer them into shortcake biscuits. Did I mention the wild ramps? As usual, we have a lot of ground to cover this evening and some delicious recipes to prepare, so we better get the show started. And no Chesapeake Farm and Bay to Table episode is complete without our executive sous chef, also known as the CEO of Harford County Public Libraries, Mary Hassler. Hey Mary, come on.
Oh, it's so great to be here. Happy spring, John.
Happy spring. How are you?
I am awesome and so excited, and these beautiful plants are here, and I don't know, and the recipes, I can't wait to get started, especially when you combine strawberries, rhubarb, and whipped cream. Come on.
Well, we have a lot of things going on, and I think it's really cool, you know, that we can talk to folks and have some really great experts with us to talk about starting your spring garden, things to look for, how to make choices to do that, and obviously things to do with them and to cook. So
exactly, because it really is from the beginning. And Robert's just amazing, and then all the way through the spices with Max. I mean, it is really the holistic presentation we're doing tonight.
Yeah, it kind of is. And it was really neat being down the 32nd Street Farmers Market, as always.
As always.
Because you're kind of seeing spring unfold each week at the market, and the vendors are bringing amazing things. And, you know, it always depends each week by week on the weather. You know, there's not a, you know, we don't have a calendar and it just happens in that particular day. It really has to do with the weather and how all the little plants come up and everybody's happy with them.
Well, they were a little shivering that day.
They were.
That's Maryland, that's Baltimore.
And that's the way it is. You know, sometimes they would say that you can't plant your garden until the Monday after Mother's Day.
Exactly.
Because we're nervous. We were nervous people.
We are.
So anyway, since we have an expert from the you know, Master Gardeners, let's see a little bit about the Master Gardeners. Each spring when I'm ready to start our kitchen garden, I head to the farmer's market for a fine selection of starter plants and herbs grown by my farmer friends. This year, we were fortunate enough to have Master Gardener Robert Cook, the Master Gardener to the Master Gardeners, as our guide and knowledgeable mentor in helping us make our selections for the growing season ahead. We work with the Baltimore City Master Gardeners on a terraced hillside, which was brilliantly engineered and installed by Blue Water Baltimore, an environmental engineering nonprofit, and located behind the kitchen of my restaurant, Gertrude's. A group of dedicated Baltimore City Master Gardeners, coordinated by Doris Lynn and Robert Cook, show up at our kitchen garden site and lovingly tend our garden of herbs and a variety of vegetables. They also hold classes at our garden for new master gardening students throughout the growing season. The Maryland Master Gardeners program is a great resource for home growers throughout the state. And while it's a lot of work to keep the garden in shape, when you have a team of dedicated, passionate gardeners, it can be a rewarding bushel full of fun. So Mary, if you ever wanted to meet a master gardener, we have the master gardener to the master gardeners, Robert Cook. Robert, come on in here. Hey, how are you?
Very fine.
Good, it's good to see you.
Robert.
Good to see you. So nice to be here.
Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for going down to the farmer's market with us.
Love the farmer's market, John.
Yeah, it's the best. It really is. It really connects you to absolutely everything. And one of the things I really like about the farmer's market is that, as we saw when we were there, many of the farmers grow the starters. And they have an amazing selection.
Great place to get herbs.
And each week it gets better and better and better. So, you know, it's wonderful. So you were helpful with us, you know, as we went around and we were trying to, you know, pick some out. But first things first, I know a lot of you out there are, you know, get a little bit nervous about gardening. You know, they like it, and especially when it comes to herbs and vegetables and fruit, you know, some people get a little bit skittish. And also, I know many of my friends, they don't have much room. They might have a terrace, a patio, they have, you know, a balcony, or they might just have a little, you know, backyard, a row house backyard. But, you know, I think you can always grow, right?
Oh, absolutely. And herbs are perfect for container gardening. A great way to start also with gardening, because herbs are generally prolific, very hardy. You know, it's a little bit hard to kill them, so a great thing to start with.
No, it really is.
Yes.
And you know, I always, you know, I've taught some gardening classes at Evergreen, and many of the people, they came just to come to the class and to talk and to eat, because we cooked and we ate. But I always encourage everybody, even if you don't have, even if you only get 1 or 2 pots that year, grow something.
Yes.
Because when you grow things, I mean, it's sort of miraculous. You go, oh my gosh, look what happened here.
It is so great
Yeah.
from your garden.
Yeah, it's pretty
Spicing
cool.
your foods.
Exactly, it's pretty cool. So you can't get much more local than if you do that. So let's talk quickly about if we're going to get a garden together. What might they need to know, either for plants or just a small plot? What were your thoughts be?
Okay. Well, let's start, you know, you want to start simple, you want to start small, and then you can build on your success from there. Herbs are a great way to start, as we mentioned. Almost any herb will grow in a pot. So if you don't have ground in your backyard, put a container out on your patio, on your deck. Herbs do so well. You can start with the traditional parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. There's your little thyme right there. And many herbs are perennials. And that means they're going to come back year after year. So the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Thyme is one of those.
That's a lemon thyme too. I love that.
Oh, one of the best. And they're also beautiful.
Yes.
This is the variegated sage. And sage is an extremely hardy
It is, yes.
herb. One of those will do you for a lifetime. You can branch out. You could do chives.
Yeah, I love those.
Chives are wonderful, and you know, coming up in the spring, they're going to have beautiful
Those-
purple flowers.
Those flowers are just amazing. I love them.
And edible too.
Yes.
Oh.
Absolutely.
They go on our
Good to know.
plates at the
Nice.
restaurant.
A beautiful
yeah.
garnish. Absolutely. And then this is a mint, and it's an orange mint, very distinctive flavor. And you talk about a good plant for a pot.
Uh-huh.
If you're growing mint, you're going to want to grow it in a pot because it will spread forever if you put it in the ground.
It does, yes.
Wonderful pot. Now, a lot of people also ask about, can you start herbs from seed? And the answer is you can. Normally herbs grow very slowly from seed, particularly your perennials like your thyme. So, with thyme, one plant is going to provide you with all your family's needs. So spend $3 or $4, buy you a plant.
Yeah.
As opposed to a couple of bucks for a package of seeds. But you might want to grow basil
Yeah.
from seed because you're going to make pesto, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You need a few basil plants, so that would be something to try growing from seed. Also, we started the parsley from seed.
Oh, okay.
Parsley.
It's always nice to have a few parsley plants
Yeah.
because your black swallowtail caterpillar is going to come and chew on your parsley.
Oh.
So you need some parsley for your caterpillars and some
some for
parsley
yourself.
for you.
Well, that's
Yes, I
only
love it.
fair.
Exactly,
Yeah.
isn't it? And dill.
Okay.
And dill is another one that you're likely to find a black swallowtail caterpillar on.
Oh.
Anything that's in the parsley dill family will attract the black swallowtail. Beautiful caterpillars, of course, beautiful butterflies.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
great for the
beautiful.
Chesapeake.
Nice. So this parsley, what type of parsley is that? A curly parsley or is it a flat leaf parsley?
This happens to be curly. My wife and I are big fans of the curly parsley.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like the more flavorful flat leaf.
Yeah.
And they're both great. Both
Exactly.
easy to grow too.
Yeah. So they're
And I believe some of these keep some of the mosquitoes away or help keep some of the fleas away and things like that,
That's right.
especially mint.
Yes, and almost any aromatic herb will help keep insects away. Mint's a great one. Rosemary's another. You can buy geraniums that are designed to keep
yeah.
mosquitoes away
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
My mom always had them, and the old-fashioned kind that really have the very strong
Oh,
scent.
they're so
Yeah.
nice.
She would plant them around her garden. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some edible types of geraniums, or they're scented, and you can use the leaves
Oh.
to steep in creme anglaise or to make sauces. They're just, it's like perfume throughout the entire thing. So geraniums can be quite useful, besides being beautiful, and they smell so good. So that's good.
Can I mention an unusual herb that people might be interested in
Sure.
trying? And that's stevia.
Stevia,
Oh, that's a
yes.
herb?
You may have heard of stevia to sweeten your coffee or your tea.
Yeah.
You can grow that as an annual here in Maryland. In a pot would do very, very well. Dry it and then add it to your teas. It's
not.
wonderful sweeter. Extremely potent. If you take a bite of stevia, you want to take a small bite because it's very strong.
So if you're going to use it, what part of the plant do you use?
The leaf.
The leaf.
The leaf for the stevia.
And do you chop it? Do you,
Soak
or
it?
can you just put it right
I
in?
dry it.
You dry it.
Dry it,
Okay.
either very low oven or a simple dryer mechanism.
Yeah.
And then crumble it.
Oh,
And
nice.
then you have a nice little green powder
Yeah.
to put in mixing with the tea.
Yeah, everybody was talking about stevia for, everywhere. Everywhere you went, everybody wanted to know, do you have stevia? We were looking for it first. You can only get it in the health food store. I never knew you could grow it.
You can grow it in your
Oh, my
backyard.
God.
It's a great herb.
Oh, that's
Wow.
cool. That's really great. Well, since we're in spring, we're in, herbs and things like that. I thought maybe we would make something that's quintessential spring, sweet pea soup. How about that?
Okay.
All right, well, we're going to move this out of here so that we don't cook these, because
Thank you.
I have been known to cook anything that's around here. Maybe we'll just grab this real quick. And Mary will be so good to put us on a nice high heat here.
Okay.
And so anyway, again, I keep talking about the farmer's market because really, if you want to get fresh peas, you kind of need to go to a farm stand. You have to know someone that grows peas, or if you grow peas yourself,
Yes.
because they're not really easy to find. You can't just go everywhere and get fresh peas. Frozen peas work quite nicely as well. So it isn't like if you don't have fresh peas, you can't make this soup, because you can.
Okay.
But again, over the farmer's market, when that pea guy is there with the fresh peas, that line goes for, quarter mile
Very
to
true.
get the fresh peas. So anyway, this one is a relatively simple. Most of these kinds of things just are. So what I'm going to do is Mary has some delicious olive oil over there that she's been working with and lovingly squeezing. This is actually, again, from the farmer's market. It's Dimitri's olive oil. And we're just going to put a little bit here in the bottom of that. And let me get a spoon here so we can actually do a little bit of cooking. So usually in this recipe you could use butter. I like using the olive oil, especially if you can get a good quality, because it really scents and gives a wonderful fragrance to the to the soup or whatever that it is that you're cooking or you're sautéing. So I generally like that. So how about I'm thinking we might need a little bit of shallots.
Oh,
Is this
shallots.
here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You want to?
Another
want the
nice thing
whole-
to put in your garden.
Yeah.
You can definitely grow shallots in Maryland.
Okay, so tell us about that.
Shallots are probably best started in the fall, so they'll
Okay.
overwinter. You plant them as a set, which looks like a very small onion,
Yeah.
and then they multiply, and in the spring you'll have 5 or 6 shallots coming from that single bulb you
Really?
planted.
So that's under the
You start
under the ground. Under the ground.
And no, it's okay if the ground freezes.
They love it cold.
They love it cold.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wow.
You can start shallots now in
Yeah.
the spring with a shallot set.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just won't get as large as if you started in the fall.
So what's the difference between a shallot or a yellow onion or a sweet onion or...
Well, a yellow onion is yellow.
Okay. Okay.
Flavor and size.
Okay.
A lot of your yellow onions a little bit more bitter.
Could you give me some green onion? I'm sorry.
Shallots,
Some
very,
green onion.
very
Green onion?
tender flavor. Oh, another allium.
Yeah.
Right, dear.
Thank you.
So many wonderful vegetables from the allium family.
There's so many onions and shallots, and I'm always confused about which one to buy. And when I do a special recipe, it's like I have to go to the special store and find that special.
Yeah. Well,
and then,
I mean,
and then I look at it and think, what do I do with it now? I have to Google it. I'm like, how do I wash it? But you can find that online.
Really?
If I never miss anything like that.
yeah, you can.
You can.
That is one of the beauties of the internet, is you can really find out about just about anything you need to know. And onions all have different properties. Some are better eaten raw. Others are better cooked or sweated.
What does sweated mean?
Sweated means, okay, let's say that we had our olive oil, we get it to a kind of a high temperature,
Okay.
then we're going to turn it down
Okay.
real low, like so, and you slowly cook it.
I know.
So what happens is the moisture that's in whatever you're cooking starts to come out, and when you cook it very slowly, it's called sweating.
Okay. I've never heard that term
Yes.
before.
Now, John, wouldn't you say if you just don't happen to have a shallot in the house, you could do some substitution?
You could, for sure. I mean, you use an onion, and you'll get a reasonable facsimile. Sometimes I'll just play a little bit, and I'll put a little bit of onion and a little bit of garlic. Actually,
Ooh,
they're not the
okay.
same, but it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Generally, it'll always work pretty well. Most of the time, you put garlic in most things, you're not going to get in trouble. People are
Not in my house.
It's like olive oil. You can almost put olive oil in anything and you're not going to get in
just about
trouble.
anything, and people will be fine. They're pretty fine with that. So anyway, we put about a half a cup of the sliced onions in there.
Okay.
And Mary, do you have some peas that you've been
We do. Look at these
pulling out of the
beautiful
pot all
peas.
day? Did you
Yes,
start that early?
well, you don't shuck peas.
I
What do you
knew
do
you-
with peas?
I knew you did that
pop
early.
the peas out.
Peas from the pod.
So are peas easy to grow?
Very easy to grow.
Oh, in Maryland, in this area?
In Maryland, you plant them early. My peas are already in the ground. They're
All right.
coming up a couple of inches high.
Yeah.
I love the sugar snap peas.
Oh, yes.
That's
I
what I
had
grow.
them for
Yeah.
lunch today.
Yeah. But any pea will do well, but they have to be planted early because they're a cool weather.
Oh, and we get
Plant.
hot quickly here.
Oh, yes.
We do.
So how early do you usually plant them?
My peas have probably been in the ground for 3 weeks.
Oh, we're late.
nice.
I'm late then.
Nah.
Oh,
Next year, Mary,
and next year. Well, I'm in Hartford County. We are 2 weeks behind in growing sometimes. So.
Go. Give it a try.
And
Okay, this is not too difficult so far.
smells
Right, we have
wonderful.
olive
I
oil,
could
we
do
have some
this.
shallots,
I
we
like
have some
it.
green onions,
Yeah.
You have peas. Now, where we got a little tiny bit fancy.
Yeah.
Mary, write this
This?
thing here. Yep. This is our very own sweet pea stock. So we actually made a stock.
pea
So we
stock.
use some scallions, celery, the pea pods,
Okay.
and some kosher salt, and you just making a little stock out of it.
Okay.
Nice.
So I mean, yeah, you could use water. Yeah, you could go to the store and get some vegetable stock. That would
Okay.
be. But this is really nice because this is sort of the essence of
Wow.
peas.
And what a nice way to use the pod.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
And,
that.
and I bet you get the vitamins too.
You get everything out of there.
yeah.
Now, we're up now. I gotta find my high. All right, so now we're going to take right here. I also have, Mary, would you like to give us a little
Salt?
of that? This is sugar.
Oh, this
Oh.
is
So,
sugar.
you know, there is a natural sweetness to peas already, and
There you go, John.
we're having a problem.
I'm having sugar.
See what?
I'm sugar challenged
I don't know
tonight.
if you're in Maryland with us today, you will know that it is very hot and it is very humid, and they
And
do
it's-
not turn the air conditioning in our condo until
didn't
May.
notice that, John.
Until May.
It is 83 degrees in here, in case you wonder.
Yes. So sometimes, you know, with the humidity, the sugar
Yes.
will stick to the bottom of that.
But John's magic hands got it out.
So interesting. So the sugar, what's the sugar going to do with the soup?
It just brings out a little bit more sweetness in the peas.
Okay.
Just if you notice, we didn't put much in. It's
No,
just,
no.
I mean, you could just put, we could call it a whisper.
A whisper.
A whisper of sugar.
A whisper of sugar. I like it.
And then we're gonna grab here, I have some of the salt.
Okay.
And you know how I use my salt. I do the,
This
It's
looks
got-
like special salt.
yeah, it's a
That's
sea
it.
salt. It's a
Sea
Celtic
salt.
sea salt.
Celtic.
Celtic.
Of course.
Wow.
Holy mother of God.
That's for
we don't
our
use
Irish
anything but
fans out
Irish.
there who are
Well, it's a
watching our
grain
show.
soup, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
All right, great.
I hope he's not putting shamrocks in here.
We could. Can
maybe,
you grow those?
You can grow shamrocks. I don't suggest you eat them. I mean, maybe they're edible. I just
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I don't think I would try that.
No.
Actually, I do, somewhere in this apartment, I do have some shamrocks growing, actually.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
We could decorate
course.
with them.
We could do
They're
that.
pretty indoor plants.
Yes.
actually
They are.
So as this thing is getting ready to percolate,
Okay.
maybe, Robert, you can tell us a little bit more about the Maryland Master Gardeners and the Baltimore City Master Gardeners as well.
I'd be glad to. The Master Gardener program is part of the University of Maryland Extension. It's a volunteer organization. You go through quite a bit of training. It takes
Yeah.
40 hours of in-class training. And then after that, to become a Master Gardener, you're required to volunteer in your local community. 20 hours
Yeah.
a year. And then in the following years, you have to do 10 hours of continuing education
Yeah,
to keep your knowledge fresh,
Whoa.
and another 20 hours of volunteer work.
That's wonderful.
that's pretty
Yeah.
intense, actually. That's a good bit.
Exactly. And Mary, I expect a lot of your viewers have met our Master Gardeners at your library branches.
And Harford County, yes, we have Master Gardeners up in the Bel Air Library and other branches too who do amazing work. They provide programs. They also sit there and provide advice. So
Okay.
hats off to all of you because you have been just wonderful across the state.
We always enjoy talking with the public. I mean, what's not to like when you're talking about growing things?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
the 33rd Street Farmers Market
Yeah.
in Waverly
Yeah.
will have a Master Gardeners, Ask a Master Gardeners table there.
Yeah, which is a great resource.
Right.
It really is a great resource for
Be
people.
there next weekend if you'd like to come by and ask questions.
Awesome. Do you have any asparagus over there,
We
darling?
just might have
Well,
some.
looky
Look
there.
at
And
this.
do we also have the secret
Oh.
ingredient? No, that's not the secret ingredient.
Okay.
The secret ingredient
come.
is
Oh, okay. This is the secret ingredient I had never heard of until yesterday.
Oh,
this. Ramps.
Ramps.
Look at this. We
Ramps.
have wild ramps, and it's a really short season for wild ramps. And
and I think another member of the allium family.
is it?
It is. It's a
Wow.
relative to the onion.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes they'll call it a wild leek.
Right.
Many people say there's a little bit like an onion, a little bit garlic flavor to it. But I think it tastes like a ramp. My very own self
I had
here.
never heard of it until yesterday.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Well, we need
amazing?
to ramp up your plant.
Oh, so true.
So, you know, ramps grow very, very well up in the Appalachian as you go out to Western Maryland, through West Virginia, and all along the Appalachian, you know,
Trail.
corridor there. And forever, all the communities there, have huge ramp festivals every year. I mean, really big, and this has been going on for like 100 years. And it really, for them, it's the thing that marks spring beginning.
Interesting. But it's a short growing period, correct?
Very short.
Very short,
Very
okay.
short for harvesting.
Yeah,
I think, Mary, we need to just try a little. Can we try a
Come
little?
on.
Try a little.
Try some.
I would love to.
Mary?
Thank you.
But they're so cool. I just like looking at them. They're just so good.
They have a little kick to them.
They do have a kick. They do have a kick.
That's spring.
That's spring.
Well, okay, everybody has to eat one now.
All right, everybody
Everybody,
has
the whole crew and everybody.
Now, you can actually grow ramps at home.
Okay.
I don't know where you could find the bulbs to start them.
Right.
Okay.
But you know, if you went to the University of Maryland Extension Home and Garden Center on the web, there are instructions for growing ramps
Wow.
there.
That is very cool.
Well, they are very tasty. I'll have to find one of these festivals.
I just kind of, you know, did sort of, in the culinary term, chiffonade, which means sliced. Fancy thing for sliced. Fancy thing for sliced. So also what we did is, again, spring, asparagus. And the asparagus from the Eastern Shore, you know, it likes a sandy.
I hope you're going to have some left.
We might have a few.
That's really good.
Isn't it good? So you could either blanch it or you could roast it. You know, toss it in a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, roast it, and then cut it up like this. Because what we're going to use the ramp and the asparagus for is a garnish for the soup. It's like making a little salad and you put it in the top of the soup. It is so good. So we also, Mary has squeezed a little bit more olive oil for us, lovingly.
Lovingly, yes.
Lovingly. And I'm going to just take and pour just a little bit. You know, you just want to coat it. And then I do think we have some, here's my magic salt.
Magic salt.
Like so.
You know, asparagus is another nice plant to grow.
Yeah, tell us about that, because that's an interesting plant.
It is. It's a perennial. It will come up every year. It comes up just about this time. I've been going out to my garden and looking for the little asparagus spears to start coming up. And when it finishes in the spring, you let some of the spears grow, and they'll get as tall as I am. They're beautiful, beautiful
As tall
fawns.
as you?
The beautiful fawns.
Oh, yes. Okay.
You leave them there all year long.
So do I have a zester here? And I need this lime.
You
if
have
could.
a big zester and a lime.
A microplane.
Okay, microplane.
So, our soup chef at Gertrude's, she's been making this topping, and I really, really like it. So she either uses, sometimes she'll use an orange zest, sometimes she uses a lime zest.
I love lime.
It. So we're just putting a little bit of that right in there.
Okay.
And this will be the topping for our soup. And then basically all you want to do is let this come to a boil. You don't want to cook it. The peas are very tender, and Mary is going to do a quick little immersion blending kind of thing for us there.
The boat motor.
Yes.
Yes,
Let's see if I can get it to go on.
That's always a trick. Up, there it goes. I can see it. I think that's just lovely.
Okay.
That'll give us the
Our tech crew does not like that sound.
Yeah, they hate when we put that on. All right, Mary, we can just pull this back over here real quick. And then I have a bowl there that we have all ready to go. And so, really, I mean, at this point, what you would do in the real world, we would just recheck seasonings and maybe a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper, whatever
Beautiful
that
color.
would take.
It does look
But
beautiful.
it is just a beautiful color. And then you just take some of the asparagus and the ramps, and you just put a little bit in there.
Look at that.
Tuck those in, and you're ready to go. So it's so simple. I mean,
nice.
it really
I
is a
agree.
simple soup, but it is so good. So anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have our spring soup.
We do.
All right, well, we're going to clean this up. Robert, I'll let you go rest for a little bit, and we'll have you
We'll be
back
back.
in a few.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
We're cleaning as we go and getting ready for our next thing here. Okay.
All right.
There we go. Sorry. We do have to do these set changes.
Would
you
anyone
know.
like to have a fundraiser for the ramps? I have a
Yes.
whole lovely bunch here. Just let the library know. Highest bidder.
Or we could do a quick ramp festival. I'm sure we can make that
Hey,
happen.
that's in the back of my mind now that I know what they are.
So anyway, Mary, we had a really nice, informational session with Robert on herbs and planting herbs and so forth. But you know what? We're really fortunate. We have the herb guys here with us this evening. So let's take a look. Whenever I need to get the background in 411 on my local food choices, I immediately go to the source. And when looking for unique herbs and spices, my go-to is Max's Degrees, where Max and Bo educate and inspire buyers with their obvious love and passion for all possible uses and combinations of their herb and spice blends. The selection may at first seem overwhelming, but their guidance and knowledge show you the way. Their stand is an absolute aromatic paradise not to be missed.
Oh my gosh.
All right, are you ready?
I am ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce you to Max of Max's Degrees. Hey, how are you?
Oh, so good to see you
It's
again.
good to see you.
Yes.
And thank you for being here with us.
Yes.
We're very excited. I love every time we go over to your stand at the market and you have all these things. It's like the coolest stand. It really is. It's a visual, it's a beautiful visual thing. And then it becomes tremendously aromatic at the same time.
Great.
So anyway, we needed a little bit of advice and a little bit of background about herbs, okay?
All right.
So we're going to bring this over and we're going to try not to melt it as I'm very, very
Or set it on fire. That would...
perfect. Set it on fire, as our regular viewers know I do from time to time. So anyway, here we go. First thing, Merrick, could you grab us the herbs, these herbs?
These herbs.
So when we were talking earlier, and we're talking to Robert about, planting herbs and planting our herb garden. Well, most of the things that you use, they all come from herbs or plants or so forth and so on. People are always asking me, so what's the difference? What's the difference between the dried herb, the fresh herb, and how does the whole thing come to play for you?
Well, the dry herbs I really like because it makes making dinner really fast.
Yeah.
Instead of, all the prep time it takes to cut up the herbs and destem the herbs. And,
Yeah.
So I really like the dry herbs just for a nice, quick dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we were gonna, let's say, I work so hard on my
Garden.
garden and my rosemary and my tarragon, I could dry some of this, correct?
Correct.
I could
yeah.
put it in one of those
Dehydrators,
yeah.
Air dry it.
Right.
But if you air dry it, make sure you have like a plate with holes in the bottom so it doesn't collect mold.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay.
But then you want to get, if you don't do that, I would imagine you want to get a good quality
Dehydrated.
dried herb,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, how do you source yours?
We get a lot of farmers to grow for us.
Do you? Oh, that's cool.
From all over Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia. We try to source as local as possible to everything.
Yeah.
And stuff, you can't get local, like cinnamon or nutmeg. So we go organic with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, most people say, okay, well, I have, like Robert said, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. You have your basic spices, spices that you're going to, and herbs that you're going to use to, let's say, make a stock, a chicken stock, a vegetable stock, and those kinds of things. But the thing that I love about what you do is you take the basics, the main herbs, and you turn them into, it's like a festival, into a whole nother experience of herbs. So why don't we talk about, because every time we go to the market, the only thing we want to know about is, what do you got? So let's talk about that a little bit.
And I love the names. That's
Thank
what
you.
got my attention, the names. And then, of course, cardamom, which is a favorite of mine.
And mine.
And yours.
So yeah, a lot of our blends, the tins will be color coded. So your green labels will be your herbs, your mushrooms, your garlics, your onions. Your red labels will be your more mild to very, very, very hot for all those customers that likes a nice kick to their dish.
Yeah.
And then your gray ones are going to be all your nice smoked.
Okay.
No artificial smoke flavorings or slow smoke, so you get as much smoke flavor in it without overpowering the herbs.
So what are the ones? Let's some of the names. Let's look at some of these.
Some of my favorite that's
Yes.
here. I love the wild piglet rub.
All right, let's smell that.
Wild piglet rub.
So it's 4-inch porcini mushrooms,
Oh my God.
roasted garlic, rosemary, salt and pepper, and it has a really nice, kind of reminds me of oodles and noodles.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's very,
Yeah.
very good. I'm sorry that this isn't an
Yes,
odorama
you'll
and
take
the
our word
scratch
for
and
it.
sniff, but we're working on it.
Some of my other favorites, the Vampire Slayer.
That's one of my
Super,
favorites.
Is
super
it?
garlicky.
Yeah.
So it has black garlic in it,
Wow.
which is garlic that's caramelized for 7 straight weeks. And then it gets black and spreadable like butter, and it gives a really nice Worcestershire umami flavor to it.
Wow.
Great for, making a good compound butter or
Yeah.
your soups or salads. We also just recently came out with a Better Bay blend.
Like a
the
Chesapeake
Like a-
seasoning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's better for you and it's better for the Bay. So we donate 10% to the Chesapeake Bay Fund.
Nice.
But we also use sea asparagus instead of sod.
Sea asparagus?
Sea asparagus.
So sea asparagus is 50% less sodium.
Does it grow in the sea? What
Yes.
is it? Okay.
So it's a company in California.
Uh-huh.
They do sustainable farming.
Yeah.
And they use the ocean water to water their sea asparagus, and the sea asparagus will absorb that salt. But it won't be as salty. It's 50% less sodium, but it's also great for you for high in vitamin B and magnesium and potassium. So it's better for you and better for the bay.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is.
I love that. I really love that. And what else we have here?
The smoked Madagascar vanilla sugars.
Oh,
are
I
very
bet.
I
nice.
love this.
Yeah.
This is, yeah.
Great in coffee. It really takes away that bitterness and has a really nice creaminess to it. I love the smoked Ecuadorian cacao salt.
Uh-huh.
Great for desserts and, oatmeal and Greek yogurt, just to add a little bit of notch of chocolate. The hot-headed hen is a favorite of mine.
Uh-huh.
It's hen of the woods mushrooms, which we have a local guy
Oh,
who
they're-
forages them
Yeah,
for us.
they're beautiful.
So it has that, some herbs de Provence with a little bit of smoked lavender for a nice earthiness. There's some lemon drop peppers to add a nice little punch of kick.
Wow. Well, I'm getting some ideas what we can do with this.
too.
I think we got, didn't Andy from Andy A's got us some lovely chicken. So here, let's
bring this
let's
bird
bring
in.
this bird over here.
There you
And I
go.
think I have a yellow board here that they're going to hand over to me. Lovely. And we have this here.
So is this a chicken board?
This is the chicken
like
board.
that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the chicken board. It's a big board, but it is a chicken board. And we'll probably melt it somehow.
Yes, we will, I'm sure.
In the is of doing this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Andy's chicken, and it's going to go right over here. We can get rid of this one, but we'll keep the Pyrex dish.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason we have a yellow thing is because in restaurants and many home cooks will get different color boards. You have red for meat, blue for seafood, yellow for poultry, and then you could just use white, for vegetables and so forth, because you don't want to cross-contaminate anything when you're doing these things. So anyway, that's why we're gonna use that there. Now I think we have some butter here,
Yes, we do.
and then Jason gave me some ideas while he was talking to me. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some herbs and I'm going to put it in the butter. We're going to soften it. I want you to pick what we're going to do to jazz this up.
I'm gonna pick.
Let's see what
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
say
pick.
the hot-headed hen.
Okay.
The hot-headed hen on chicken.
Well, we
Okay.
got the hen and the chicken. You can't go wrong.
Yes.
For God's sake. So, how much you thinking?
I would do another little pinch.
Another little pinch.
It's a
Okay.
decent sized bird.
There we go.
It's a
Nice.
decent size.
All right, we'll put that there.
Okay.
And then I'll just put a few like little fresh herbs that we had cut up earlier. Has some thyme and oregano in it. So we'll just take that and we're going to mix all of that up like a soap.
And about how much butter was that softened? About a half a cup?
It's
Softened?
about, I'd say about, yeah, maybe about 4 tablespoons.
Okay.
You can always be generous with the butter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, if things go wrong, you can't use it all on the chicken, we can do a facial. It's going to be fine, one way or the other. Waste not, want not, I always say. All right, now here I'm going to get on my, we're going to go into surgery. I'm going to put on, and I'm going to give Mary some gloves too.
Okay.
Because Mary's going to play with the
bird?
fingerling potatoes,
Ooh,
potatoes, while I do that. So,
Yes, sir.
as you can see, we have some beautiful fingerling potatoes, and we cut them in half lengthwise. So what I want to do, Mary, while I'm working on the bird, maybe you can just put a little bit of salt on those,
Yeah.
and a little bit of your olive oil, and just toss them.
Will do.
You don't need a lot, you know, just enough to give that some flavor.
But I remember John in one of our first cooking classes, he said potatoes always need salt.
Always need salt.
Always need salt.
Always need salt.
There's that.
Okay, so while Mary's doing that, taking care of the potatoes, I am taking my finger and going up under the skin
Yep.
of the chicken.
So he's pulling that away from the body of the chicken, and it's actually doable. I've had to do that in a cooking class in Chicago once. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh, okay."
it may seem
weird, but-
technical and weird, but
it's
once
not.
you start it, it's really kind of intuitive.
It really,
It's really intuitive. So anyway, I just opened up the skin here, and I'm just going to take the butter and go right in there and rub the butter all inside the chicken like this. Like so, like so, like so. You like? So, Max, I know that every week I can go over to the farmer's market and find you and find all these herbs. And you have so many other things there. So many. Not just herbs, but you have all kinds of
Oils.
of oils and
Yeah, we
concoctions.
do a lot
and,
of shrubs and mustards and nuts.
yes, I mean, it's pretty amazing. So let's say that, I don't know how it's possible, but some people couldn't get to the market. Where else do you sell, and can they go on
We
the
do
World
have an
Wide
online
Web?
store, maxisdegrees.com. We do have a couple small stores like the Farm Chicks, and working on getting into some other stores right now.
Yeah.
But more focusing. I prefer to do the markets just because I like to interact with all my customers.
Yeah, and you have so many great
That's
ideas.
right.
I mean, you can't just do that by picking up something. You know,
It's
you're-
easier to tell people about us face to face
Yeah.
than having a description.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we're all over Baltimore. We do the 32nd Street Market. We do the JFX Market.
Oh, gee, I didn't know that. Oh, great.
Yeah.
You'll have to come up to Hartford
we do
County's markets.
Catonsville.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of farmers
Yeah.
markets in Illinois.
So, Mary, you did a great job. Do you think you could put them all on the bottom of the pan?
I think I
Now,
can.
normally, if I was going to roast a chicken, I put a rack in the bottom of the pan and cook the chicken on top of the rack, right? All right, we just made a rack of potatoes, which is nothing like that. So there, what we would do. Oh, and also I have that little bowl here. So we made kind of like a wet rub of some of the spices, kind of like the spices that be here. We could put some of those spices in here too. Yeah, sure. Let's throw a little bit in. That'll give us a little continuity there with it.
That's a nice
Beautiful.
little kick to it.
Yes. And then I'm going to take the wet herb mix, really more olive oil
Okay.
in there with herbs and garlic, and we're just going to rub that over top the chicken.
Okay.
Look at that.
Oh, so pretty.
It smells amazing.
And we'd like to thank Andy from Andy's Eggs, because he does a great job. And,
does.
And
It does have phenomenal products.
he does have wonderful product. All right, so theoretically, what we have here is we have a chicken, right?
Okay.
And we're going to put that right on top. Now, you can do many different things with this chicken. You could stuff it. One of the recipes that I have is stuffed with cornbread. And when you're going to roast a chicken, just think about, you want to roast it for, if it's stuffed, for about 25 minutes a pound. But if it's not, like we're not going to stuff this, about 18 to 20 minutes a pound. And we roasted it around 400 degrees. And then after it comes out, put a little tent of foil on top of it and just let it sit for about 10-15 minutes before you do it. And it's amazing. I mean, it's a very simple thing, a roast chicken, but I think it's one of the most beautiful things in cooking and in the culinary world, just a roast chicken with whatever vegetables. And you can also do so many things with it afterwards. So the next day, my grandmother could always get enough off of there to make a chicken salad. And then 2 days later, somehow she was able to put it all into a big pot, the carcass and whatever is left, and make a chicken soup, and she made noodles, and so you can get like 3 to 4 big meals out of the chicken. And you don't have to go to the grocery store and get your breast or get your legs or whatever. You got one thing here, the way it always has been, and you can really stretch that whole
Chicken pot
thing
pie.
out. All right, so through the magic and
For the
chicken pot
magic,
pie
I'm going
is
to put this in the magic oven.
put it in the magic oven. And now, from the magic of television, we have, ladies and
Voila.
gentlemen, a roasted chicken with the potatoes, with all
Looks
the
beautiful.
chicken fat. You might want to have one.
All right.
Oh my God.
Is it good?
Uh-huh.
It is very, very good.
That's like scary good. So anyway, there you go.
I agree. That's excellent.
You have your chicken, you have your potatoes. You could, especially in the spring, make a great big thing of asparagus on the side, and you have a complete dinner. All right, now we're going to wrap this up here, and I'm going to turn this over here, and I'm going to turn that over there. And so once again, if folks don't get to go to the farmer's market, they can...
Our website at maxisdegrees.com. So yeah.
Yeah, because it is honestly the best,
It
some
is.
of the best spices I've ever
appreciate
tasted in my life. And if you get them and you're thinking, well, I'm still not sure, get to the farmer's market and ask them. You can ask them in person.
It's
We
a
have
real
Plenty
experience.
for you to choose from, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
Yes.
that's for damn sure.
Yes, I get 40s.
All right. Well, Max, thanks so
Thank
much.
you very much for inviting me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have you back in just a little
In
bit.
a minute.
All
Yes,
right,
we
go
will.
rest. Go relax. We've been putting everybody through a lot of things here, haven't we?
We have.
All right, Mary.
All right. What's next
Oh
on the
my
list?
God. We're moving from one thing to
Okay.
another.
I am going to have Vee
So
bring this one
we've
in.
had quite a number of things from the spring, haven't we?
We have, and
Okay,
you know,
we
that's,
did the
that's part of that
peas,
spring.
we did the ramps, we're doing the spring chicken with
and
potatoes
the
and all kinds
spices.
of beautiful herbs. But when I'm thinking of spring, I
Mm-hmm.
also think about dessert. You know, I'm always thinking about dessert.
I was going to say I always think of dessert.
Dessert
first.
is just like a really pretty important part. Okay, so now my other favorite things for the spring for dessert are
Strawberries
and rhubarb.
Yes,
And a
sir.
lot of you don't know a whole hell of a lot about rhubarb, but we're going to find out a little bit more right now. So let me
Okay.
get my little pan here and get this started through the magic of television.
Oh,
All right, we have that there. I have some gorgeous
celery?
strawberries, like that. We have some of that. We're gonna get some more of these things right here.
Like this.
Mary's gonna get all the
all the
ingredients
ingredients.
that we need here to put this together.
Okay.
And, you know, Mary and I can take care of so many things, but I figured since we're talking about strawberries, we're talking about rhubarb, we're talking about all that, why don't we call Robert back? Because I think he can probably help us find out more about rhubarb and how to grow strawberries.
I agree.
What do you think?
I
What do you
agree.
think?
Robert,
All right.
come on back.
Robert, come on, we need you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Beautiful.
Welcome back. So, over here, I have a little bit, a thing of rhubarb there that's cut up.
And it looks like celery.
This is celery.
Oh, where's
And
the rhubarb?
rhubarb's right cut up all the way over.
Oh, yes. Okay,
There we
sorry.
go.
There you go.
So maybe you can see here, this is what the rhubarb looks like when it is cut up, diced and stuff like that.
Red celery.
It's a little bit early this year for everywhere to get the rhubarb. So what we did last year at the farmer's market at the restaurant, we got a boatload of it, and we quickly blanched it, chopped it, and froze it for the whole year. So we always have rhubarb. So I still had some of that there. And so Robert, tell us a little bit about rhubarb and how it might pertain to celery.
If you do find rhubarb, and you'll find some at the farmer's market later this year, it's going to look like celery, but maybe twice as wide, and it'll have a reddish tinge as well. Rhubarb, again, is something you can grow in your yard. In fact, once you get it growing, it takes a lot to kill it.
Really?
Oh yes, they're very strong rooted. They're a perennial, so they're going to die down in the winter, but every spring they'll send the shoots back up with huge leaves on them and the red stalks.
Oh, okay.
And as you harvest, as you know, you only use the stalks.
Okay.
The leaves are not edible. You should avoid those.
Okay.
But the stalks you can use in many ways. And rhubarb and strawberry are so complementary.
Yeah.
Out at the demonstration garden that the Master Gardeners run at the State Fair, we had one year a raised bed of rhubarb and strawberry. So that was our strawberry rhubarb pie bed.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All ready
I love
for
it.
making
Love it.
your rhubarb strawberry pie.
So is it true that this, in the olden days, like the turn of the previous century, rhubarb was called the pie plant? Is that a nickname for it?
I've heard of that before,
Okay.
yes, because it's used so often
In pies.
in pies.
With lots of sugar, though. Lots of
Oh,
sugar.
yes. Rhubarb tends to be a bit bitter. Is that how you describe it,
Yes,
John?
yes, it'd be bitter without some sort of sweetening agent.
And now, I have never prepared rhubarb in order to cook.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you take the ribs off of it like you would with celery, John?
You do, exactly like that. You can cut through and just pull it down.
Okay.
Pull it
Yeah.
straight down.
But
This is our celery rhubarb, but yes.
we could have spray
We could have
painted
painted it pink,
red.
a little bit of red. But
Yes, yes.
All right, so let me explain the rest of our thing right here. So what we did is we took the rhubarb that was already cooked and I put it in a little bit of water and a little bit of sugar, and we're cooking it down so you can kind of see how it gets softened. Okay. So what you want to do, because we're going to make shortcakes, right? And what we do, you get it to this stage. We're going to put it in the Frigidaire, and you want to bring it all the way down to cold.
Okay.
All right? At that time, you want to take about half of the strawberries you have on hand and fold those in to the mixture, and that's going to be your base for the shortcake. All right, so here, let's take this here, and we're going to give that over to our handy dandy helpers. And we baked some shortcakes here, and I'm going to tell you all about those because they're pretty cool. I'll take those right here. Are they too hot for me to handle?
No, they're just really yummy. I don't want to
give me
them
those
up,
things.
honey.
Mary, give me them damn things.
I've been admiring these now for a couple hours.
She has been looking at those. So let me tell you a little bit about the shortcake biscuits. I'm sure many of you, make biscuits at home. Short biscuits, when they're talking about a shortcake, basically what you're doing is you're taking flour and you're rubbing butter into it. So it makes them flaky. So they call that a short cake. But I got this recipe that was very cool. You're just taking some flour and putting it together in a bowl. You put a little sugar, baking powder, salt, yada yada. Same things you would make for any biscuit, but then there's some coconut milk here.
Yes, there is.
So which is really a very, very cool thing. So instead of using water and butter and milk in it, all you do is you take 1 can of coconut milk, put it into the flour mixture with the leavening and everything, and then you would just roll it out and into about, I would say about 3/4 of an inch, and then I use something similar to that to cut it out. So you could do bigger ones, smaller ones, and also sometimes if I don't have one of these, you know what I do? I just take the dough, flatten it out, put it into a circle, and cut it in cut it into
Nice.
farls. They call that farls. So they're little
Farls?
triangles.
Nice.
So you could bake those as a farl. And then we end up with something looking just like this. Now somewhere, I know that we already made our luscious thing, and we have
did.
some strawberries over here as well. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more of these in here. And Mary, if you could hand me the sugar, that would be so cool.
Sugar, I assume?
And I'll let you do that, Robert.
Okay.
Stir all this in, and I'll take that.
Sugar.
So what I'm going to do real quickly is take some sugar and just put it on these strawberries
Okay.
that we just sliced. We hulled them and sliced them. So when you have a stem on it,
Yeah.
such as this, you don't want to just cut this and start cutting it. You want to take your paring knife and go all the way around and pull it off. So you have this like that. That's hulling, and then we took it and we went like that. Now we do have some lovely plates over there, Mary, that I know you're very excited about.
I am very excited about this part of the show.
Oh, three plates. I like this.
Yeah. I did lose one of them. Oh, there's my knife. I knew I had a knife. Okay, so I'm going to take a knife like so. Each one of you, because you've all been so good and so nice. While we do this, we're just going to... I usually use a serrated knife when I'm going to cut a biscuit or anything like that. The serrated, this is serrated.
We always call them bread
Also
knife.
a bread knife.
A bread knife. That's what we say.
AKA
A
bread knife. So there we go, like so. All right, now, Mary, you're
Yes,
going to
sir.
know exactly how to do this whole thing here.
Okay.
I'll move this up here. Maybe you can put those right there.
Okay.
And Mary's going to start putting big old things right in the center there.
Right.
And this will be our top.
Like here.
Yeah,
Is
and
that big enough?
while you're doing it, oh, it's a
more
beautiful.
strawberries.
I'm going to
Okay.
put more strawberries on there. We can do that for each one.
Wait a minute, let me put some more.
Put that. Look
I
at
want to be
that. Look at
generous.
that.
I want to be generous.
We're going to be generous today.
Yeah, you're welcome. We like desserts in my family.
Nothing wrong with that,
We've
is
often
it?
thought about skipping all the food and just having a dessert
Of
dinner.
course.
Well, actually, when I go
Invite me, Mary.
I will.
when I go to a restaurant, I always look at the dessert menu first. I always
And what
do.
are you looking for?
What I want to have for dessert.
Okay.
And then I plan the rest of my menu, the
Around
first
it?
courses, around
do
the
that too.
dessert. And I know that's kind of crazy, but that's what I like to do.
so what's
So
the
here
two?
we're going to do, we can put that off to the
off to
side
the
a little
side
bit,
like that.
something like
Okay.
that.
A little bit more whipped cream on this one.
All right, a little more
I think
whipped
that's
cream.
Mary's.
This is Mary's. Okay, we're going to have Mary's special one is right there. And there you go. We
Oh my
have
gosh, it's
absolutely
beautiful. Look at
beautiful
this.
little things here.
It's so pretty.
Uh-huh. We have some of those there. Look at that.
Look
Look
at
at that.
Look at that.
So
It's
nice.
gorgeous.
It's springtime, right on a
It
plate,
is.
is it not? And Mary,
Yes,
just because you have the most whipped cream on it, I'm going to
you would
let
like
you
me to-
do the,
Okay, I will do the
taste
test
test today.
Let me get some of this luscious in here.
Good?
Oh, it's phenomenal. Highly recommend.
All right, there you go. A little strawberry and rhubarb shortcake. We have
Yum,
that.
yum.
We have that right there. All right. Well, I think we got a lot done in an hour. Did we
I
not?
think we did.
I really do think we got a whole lot done. So I just want to let you know we have a lot of thank yous here, but do not leave. Do not unplug, because right after we do all our thank yous, we have a great question and answer
we do.
period. And we don't want you leaving. And because of technology, I know who you are, I know where you live, and don't unplug. So
Okay, that's not true. The library does not share that with John, but I know where
all
you live
right.
and who you are.
Well, I'm intuitive. I have the psychic ability. All right, so our merry band of Springtime Gardeners would like to thank everyone for joining us today. And we really thank our loyal viewers for your time and all your comments, the comments that really help us improve the show every time. And we encourage you to share Chesapeake Farm and Bake to Table with all your family and your friends. Maybe you could even share them on social media, because you know
yes.
we want to get the word out, and to get the word out we need your help. And you ready?
I'm ready.
Don't miss next month May parties on May 11th.
Yes.
It's going to mark the return and the reunion of the kitchen goddess, Andrea
Oh.
Farnham. She was the co-star of my public television series, Coastal Cooking with John Shields.
Nice.
Now, Andrea, this woman, she knows how to throw a party, and we're going to be doing it in fine style. So I want you to think Chesapeake Taco Bar.
Oh.
You ready?
We're ready.
We're ready. And as always, thank you to the Maryland Department of Agriculture and the Maryland's Best program, where you can find that on the World Wide Web at marylandsbest.net. We also want to thank the Harford County Public Library team who helped put this whole thing together, Robert Cook and Doris Lynn from the Baltimore Master Gardeners, Max and Bo from Max's Degrees. We got to get it. Come on,
Come
get
on,
in
Max,
here.
come
we
on
need Max
in.
you back in here now. From Max's Degrees from the gardener. And then I also want to thank all the Master Gardeners that come over to Gertrude's all the time to work in our kitchen garden. Again, another thanks to Andy of Andy's Eggs and to the our Common Table production team. So we got some we got some things from Union Craft Brewery today, because we always try to end each show with some kind of toast from something local, and these guys are doing great product right here in Baltimore City, right off of the 83. And it's a fun place to go. Great brewskis, and they have an amazing outdoor area. So anyway, again, to all of you, thank you very much. We're going to do question and answers in just a minute. And I'd like to thank you. Toast. Toast.
Thank you.
Prost.
Cheers.
Sluncha to you all.
To you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, there you go. So now, let's think. The amazing somebody is going to ask us questions. Mary's got it all covered
I've got my
over
questions. Oh, there's a lot tonight,
here.
too.
Oh, Lord. Well, we
Okay.
covered a lot of territory.
We
did we not?
Here's the first question. I have a question about overwintering herbs in our zone, and it's from Kimberly. So she wants to know about overwintering herbs.
This is you.
Well, it's going to depend on whether the herbs that you have are perennials or annuals.
Okay.
Now, perennials are going to overwinter. Most perennial herbs will overwinter fine. Some you have to be careful with, like rosemary. I have the toughest time getting a rosemary plant to survive the winter.
Yeah.
If you can, and if you're growing it in a container, bring it into your house. It will do fine in a sunny window. It'll just sit there, and you can bring it back out in the spring. If you can't bring it inside, try to put it into a sheltered place, maybe up against a wall that will get sunshine, and use very well drained soil.
Okay.
They do not like wet feet.
Okay.
Nice
wow.
to know.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to bring mine in and just had a fine time.
There you go.
And I had somebody to talk to all winter.
Okay. All right, here's another question. Can you eat the spring onions from your lawn? Carol would like to know.
This is you again.
There you That's you again.
Well, the question is, how do you treat your lawn?
Oh.
Yes, but let's say that you're like all of us here, and you don't use chemicals on your lawn. Yes, you can eat spring onions from the yard.
Okay.
A nice, actually, fairly mild onion.
And dandelions.
Oh, and
dandelion
dandelions,
greens.
too.
I love
You
dandelions.
can
and
make wine
dandelion
out of
greens.
dandelion.
And wine.
My
and
grandfather used to
soup.
make wine out of it.
Yeah, it's
yes.
good.
Okay. So here's a question for Max. What is your most favorite herb that you use for your spices?
I would have
And
to
why?
say lemon verbena.
Oh,
yeah, it's just a very, very sweet, vibrant smell.
Yeah.
And beautiful color. I love that bright green color. Yeah. But the smell is just phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
And what kind of things do you do with the lemon verbena?
Everything.
Everything. Everything.
Potatoes, chicken, anything.
Hot
Oatmeal, you
baths.
can even put it in your oatmeal.
Oh, wow.
Or some
Yes.
Greek yogurt. It just adds a
yeah.
nice little brightness to any
Nice.
dish. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is.
Yes, I love lemon.
Okay, well, here's an observation. This is from Kathleen. She said her great-grandfather in Massachusetts used to say to plant your peas by St. Patrick's Day to have them by the 4th of July.
Oh, interesting.
I
Very
like that.
interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense, too.
It does.
It does. That's about the right time.
Yeah.
Okay. Also from Carol, what would you use as a substitute for the ramps? Talk about that.
Well,
I would
I'm-
say leeks.
yeah, leeks.
Leeks or it's like
Or a
wild
combination
leek.
of
Yeah.
leeks, onions,
gar-
and a little garlic.
Yep.
Because
Garlic.
it has all those aspects of it. So if you wanted to kind of mimic it, you could, put all of those together, and it should taste pretty darn good.
Yeah.
But what about that kick? There was a kick in that, wasn't it? What would you advise from your selection that would replace that kick? There was a little spicy kick.
It does
in
have
that.
a bit of a
I
spicy
would say
kick.
the garlic will
The
give
garlic,
it that
okay.
nice little kick. That
Yeah.
Okay.
needs.
Yeah. All right, great. All right, so no, we do not hate peas in this state of Maryland. However, if they're not your top choice, can you substitute something else? And that's from Joyce. I'm not sure if it would be spring pea soup, but maybe spring leek soup. Or...
Well, there's a lot of leafy vegetables that are covered around here and that we can get early. We can get some, like Gardener's Gourmet, we can get some beautiful baby spinach at that time. So if you wanted that green color, that kind of vibrant, you could still pretty much do the same preparation that we did today. The one thing that I would suggest when if you were going to do the spinach, you could take a little bit of a potato and dice it up, put it in while you were doing your boiling. Then when you do the immersion blender, it gives it some body, because
Okay.
otherwise it'll just fall away. Another thing that you could do that, it's what we know as a traditional bisque. So the way that you really make a bisque is not with a roux. You would put your spinach in, you would put a little bit of white rice. So back from 1700, they would always make their bisques with rice. And then you use kind of a colander or a sieve and you push it all through. So the starch comes out and it gives it a little bit of body. So yeah, you could do that with spinach and that would be great.
Okay, all right. Max, you and Mary were talking about cardamom. Why do you like it so much? It is not a favorite of mine.
It smells phenomenal.
That's what I say. And it's really great in cookies and
Yes,
yogurt and
yogurt.
cakes
I
and-
even like it in like nice coconut cream sauce, curries, Moroccan dishes. It's really good in. It's just a very nice, diverse, real floral flavor that I enjoy.
I agree.
Yes.
All right. Kathy would like to know from Robert, can you name some herbs or vegetables that will grow well in areas that only get 4 hours late afternoon sun in a balcony, I believe?
Right. Oh, that's very difficult. 'Cause
Yeah.
Usually, if you're looking to grow any vegetables or herbs, you're looking to have at least 6 and preferably 8 hours of sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, tarragon, though, likes semi-shade, so I might try a pot of tarragon on your balcony and see how that goes. It may go well.
What about mint? Mint is really hard to kill. I'm thinking mint, maybe.
That's a great idea, Mary.
Okay.
Put some mints out there. And you
Put some
can-
mint out.
Yeah, you can get different types of mint, the orange mint, chocolate mint.
Oh,
Strawberry
yeah.
mint.
Oh, yes.
Banana mint.
Mojito.
Yeah.
Mojito mint. That's
Yeah.
what we bought down at the
Mojito.
Mojito. Yeah, I
Oh,
can't.
that will
So
work.
many
That would
different
work.
types of
Yeah.
mint.
Okay.
Try that, Kathy.
All right, tarragon and mojito. Okay. You have a fan club. Go, Robert. He's awesome from Rhea. Thanks, John, from whoever Jason might be. Here's a question for some. I read that it takes 2 years for an asparagus bed to produce. Is that true? And that's from a bet.
That's exactly true.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
You don't want to cut the first year. You want the crowns to get very strong. And if you prepare a asparagus bed properly and let them get strong, it can grow for 100 years.
Wow.
They have
Wow.
asparagus beds in England 200 years old.
Whoa.
So treat your asparagus well when it's young, and it will give you great value later on.
Oh, that's awesome.
That would be asparagus and your mint. And also, there's something else very hardy that you can't kill either. Rhubarb's pretty hardy
Oh,
too.
rhubarb's good, yeah.
Rhubarb, yeah. And bamboo. Don't forget the bamboo. No. I don't do the bamboo. All right.
Don't you?
Kenneth would like to know, I like garlic chives, particularly
Oh,
on
yes.
scrambled eggs. What is the best way to start garlic chives from seed?
Oh, garlic chives grow easily from seed. You can just sow them right in your garden. Garlic chives bloom in the fall, beautiful white flowers, and like the purple of flowers of chives, you can eat them. You can eat all parts of the garlic chive. And in fact, they grow so well that when we tell gardeners who want to grow the garlic chive is, after the bloom, cut it off unless you want your entire yard to have garlic chives.
Another one.
Yeah, so I don't think you'll have any problem growing garlic chives from seed.
Okay. Kenneth would like to know, he likes to grow Oregon snow peas. Do you have any recipe suggestions?
You were just talking about snow peas.
peas.
How you like them?
My problem is they don't make it into the house.
True.
I clip them off and eat them before I can get them inside the house. But chopped up in a salad.
Absolutely.
John, what would you?
Well, I do generally just a quick blanch, maybe in some boiling
Yes.
water, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Take them out, and then I have a bowl. It could be with some of Max's spices, some olive oil, or some butter, some fresh lemon juice, or from this time. I just toss it really quickly. Another thing to do instead of the olive oil, use some sesame oil with it, and they just take on the flavor beautifully. But again, really, really quick.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to eat them hot. Or you could blanch them, like I just said, right into ice water. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, right into ice water. Stop the cooking process, drain them, and then make a marinade out of the sesame oil, the olive oil, the spices. Toss them together, and you can eat them cold, kind of as a salad, and they're delicious.
Okay, I think we have
Yeah.
time for one more question. All right. Do you grow stevia from seed or buy the plant?
My recommendation is to buy the plant. I do believe you can start it from seed, but it's very slow growing. So
Okay.
get your plant and enjoy it.
All right, and one more quick question for Max. What is your favorite type of cinnamon?
I would have to say Vietnamese cinnamon.
Vietnamese.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a lot
that-
more health benefits.
Yeah, that's
to
my
it.
favorite too. I love Vietnamese cinnamon.
Yeah. There's a lot more health benefits to it. Yeah.
Good to know.
And one question left. Yes, Debbie, I got my T-shirt at Talbot's this afternoon. Thank you very much. I can give credit to Talbot's in Bel Air. Yes, thank you very much. All right.
Once again, thank you all really so much for being here with us and hanging out with us for the evening. We love it. We love that you come into our kitchen and you allow us to come into your home. So take good care until we meet you all again for next month, May parties. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.